Hello and welcome to the Scaffold channel, and today I'm going to show you guys that promised Black Friday gaming PC build guide video that utilizes the best deals possible for Black Friday and Cyber Monday for November 2018. A lot of you guys asked for it in the comment section of my Tron V2 video, so I was like, why not? I'm off of school this week. So here are literally the best deals possible. Say if you're wanting to get an individual part that's heavily discounted, like if you were looking for your next graphics card or processor, or if you're someone who's looking to build a full-on gaming computer that utilizes the best money savings possible, then this video is also for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the parts that I've chosen, all the way from the processor to the power supply. They're all heavily discounted, and yet again, every single part you're about to see in this video is going to be linked in the description below. So definitely look at those for yourself, because you gotta make sure that the deals are still alive, because yet again, these deals aren't guaranteed to last, which is why this is kind of like a commentary style video, because it's just for this week. So get them while you can. So let's begin with the processor, which I either have the AMD Ryzen 5 1600 or the AMD Ryzen 5 2600. So the first generation 1600 is a 6-core processor that's based off of the 14nm first gen Ryzen architecture that you can get for $130, which is already in itself is a crazy deal. But also I'd say just as good, if you want something that's just a pinch faster in gaming and has better overclocking, is the 2600, which has the 12nm Ryzen 2nd gen architecture. You can go up to 3.9 gigahertz over the 1600's 3.6, and you can get it for $160. So there is a $30 difference. Both are going to do fantastic in gaming, and if you want my personal opinion on each of them, get the 1600 if you don't know what overclocking is, you're like a newbie to PC gaming and you just want something that's going to perform really damn good in gaming, and it's just going to be that reliable, solid backbone of your gaming PC. So get the 1600 for that for $130. But if you want something a little more enthusiast grade and you wanted to say get into overclocking, then get the 2600, because it's going to be a pinch faster than the 1600, but there is that $30 price difference. But regardless, both are for a really good price right now. Now let's move on to the motherboard, which yet again I have two options. I have the Asus Prime B350 motherboard and then the Gigabyte AX370 motherboard. So the Asus Prime B350 is $55, which is already a really awesome deal. And I'd say get this motherboard if you're planning to get that Ryzen 5 1600. I wouldn't really recommend it for the 2600 because there could be some BIOS update issues, which you know how I am on that. It really isn't that much of a deal. You just have to contact AMD. They'll send you kind of like a fake chip to BIOS update that motherboard. So if you are okay with going through the hassle of BIOS updating this motherboard for the 2600, then go for it. But for you guys who are planning to get this chip, I'd actually recommend getting the Gigabyte AX370 option here, which is $70. But this is, I think, the cheapest price I've seen go for an X370 motherboard, which from you can tell in the Q&A section. You want to look at this right here. At the moment, according to this recent review, is Ryzen 2000 ready, so it will be able to support that 2600 right out of the box. It looked like in the summer it wasn't, but now it should be. I mean, it's been a long time, should be BIOS update ready, so you're basically gonna get an X470 motherboard for a heavily discounted price, so you can get some better overclocks along with a slightly cooler looking motherboard. But now what about RAM? So this is a bit interesting, but for my RAM choices, I'm actually going with 16 gigabytes in each of these options. I didn't find any really good 8 gigabyte RAM deal options. I mean, none of them were discounted below $60, which is what I was looking for. So those unfortunately haven't changed much, but in the 16 gigabyte realm, there are some really good deals, especially this $105 16 gigabyte kit from Corsair. So if you want just RAM, and that's it, you don't want any special RGB colors, then get this. It's running at 2066 megahertz, which is the fastest speed you can get without overclocking your processor to make it go even faster. So for that price, I mean, it's just a lot of, it's good. I'm just gonna keep it at that. And you'll be at 16 gigs, so you'll be prepared for any game that uses above 8 gigabytes of RAM. But now, say if you wanted something that's a little bit more luxurious, right? You can get this Corsair Vengeance RGB kit that runs at 3000 megahertz for $125, which also is a really impressive deal because there are a lot of other 16GB RAM kits that I've seen that go for the same price but aren't RGB. So if you want something a little bit more flashy, then definitely consider getting this Vengeance RGB Pro. Or not Pro, just regular. Now for the graphics card, I have two options. One from Team Red and one from Team Green. So here I have the MSI RX 580 with 8GB of VRAM that you can get for, without a rebate, $213, which is already a really fantastic deal. But if you wanted to go the extra mile, you can apply a $20 rebate, which is essentially a letter that MSI will mail you in about 4 to 5 months, which is basically a free $20, which in essence brings this down to $193. Or if you want something a little bit cheaper, not as fast, but still a really good value, is the Asus Cerberus, how do you pronounce that? GTX 1050 Ti with 4GB of VRAM that you can get for $155. Now this is the cheapest I've ever seen a 1050 Ti go on Amazon, which is quite a landmark. So it's also a really incredible deal, because usually the average price of a 1050 Ti on Amazon is about $170. So you're getting this for a much lesser price than what the advertised price of a regular 1050 Ti would usually be on Amazon. So between the two cards, in my personal opinion, if you want the power, if you want the long-term usability and kind of like future proof that a card can get you, then get the RX 580, because it does have a hefty 8GB of VRAM, and I'm almost certain that you can't find a 1060 with 6GB of VRAM brand new for the same price. So this is probably going to be your best bet if you want to pretty much not upgrade your graphics card for at least 3 years. But if you want something that's cheaper and is still pretty fast, because this 1050 Ti is very similar to the one that I used in my Raptor $600 gaming PC video, then this 1050 Ti is definitely gonna be able to pump out some frames as well for a really good deal. Yes, it has 4 gigs of VRAM, which is actually still a pretty decent amount, but it's gonna give you that really rock solid performance, especially considering that's the OC edition, which means it's already overclocked out of the box. Now for the storage, there's a lot of deals, but there's only one that stood out to me, which I don't think is even discounted, but the price is just so ridiculous. It's this 512GB Silicon Power SSD that is at $63, which that's like almost entering the realm of hard drives. But I mean, for the amount of storage you're getting for the price and the insane speed you're gonna get, I mean, why not, right? Just get an SSD, because this is probably, it might go up in price, I'm not sure, but this is just a really good value. So I recommend getting it if you want an SSD. Hard drives at the moment, I'm pretty sure aren't getting discounted in price. So I would just stick with an SSD for Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals like this one. Now for the case. This is a little bit hard because cases have been hit with like trading tariffs, so they're now more expensive than what they should be. But this one for $60 definitely, I believe, is in the great value range, which is the $60 Corsair Carbide 275R. Now, if you aren't an Amazon Prime member, you can get the black case. But if you are, you can get either the black case or the white case. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, I would really look at the white case, which is the reason why I chose this case, because it looks beautiful. It's by Corsair, so it's gonna be pretty much bulletproof and amazing to build in. Quite frankly, it'll be like one of the easiest cases you'll probably ever build in, because it's Corsair and they're really gamer friendly. But it looks clean. It has that really cool looking tempered glass side panel, and it does have an included fan at the back of the case. And actually, for kind of like you guys may want to upgrade your CPU in the long run, you can actually get a 360mm radiator in the front of this case if you want to say overclock like a future Ryzen 10 core behemoth CPU or whatever. This case can support that size, which is great to see. But anyways, it's a clean looking case for $60 if you are an Amazon Prime member. If you aren't, you can get the black version, which is, cool, but the white one's still, just as cool, right? So that is what I have for the case. And then now for the power supply, I have the $60 CoolerMaster MasterWatt 650. This is an 80+ bronze power supply that is semi-modular, which means that all the cables for the power supply aren't directly attached to it. You can actually choose which cables you'll need for certain parts, so which will actually reduce cable clutter by a pretty fair amount, so you can achieve a really clean looking build in your case, which is why I chose this. And also it's by CoolerMaster. They're a very reputable brand when it comes to power supplies. And then I have an optional one, but it's currently out of stock until Black Friday. is the EVGA 750BQ. This is a 750 watt 80 plus bronze power supply for the same price. So you're getting an extra 100 watts. It is also semi-modular, but it's out of stock. And it's also yet again by a very reputable brand. So if you want an extra 100 watts, I'd look out for this power supply when it finally comes back in stock. And then finishing out the Amazon parts list, actually for the CPU cooler, if you guys wanted to get one, this Deepcool GAMAX 400 for $24 is gnarly. Like, I've heard rumors that this thing is better than a Hyper 212 Evo, which is the king of budget CPU coolers. So undercutting it by $8 or $7 is gonna make this pretty much one of the best CPU coolers you can get during the Black Friday holiday season. And if you wanted to say get that white Corsair case right here, something really cool you can match this up with is a white GAMAX 400 for, yeah, I know it's a higher price, but once it decides to load, yeah, you can get a white version of the CPU cooler, which, yeah, it's $38, but it would look so sick with that white Corsair case. So that's there if you guys want a cooler looking CPU cooler than the stock cooler that comes with the Ryzen chips. Anyways, those were the Amazon deals. And for you guys who maybe want to look at some more deals that aren't on Amazon, here I have a few deals I picked up from Newegg and from another website that are also spectacular, and these will also be linked in the description. So if you want an even better CPU, you can get a Ryzen 7 1700X for $150 on Newegg. So unlike the 1600 that you just saw, this is another first gen processor, but it's 8 cores. It can go up to 3.8 gigahertz, and it's $150. So, I mean, just $20 more expensive than that 1600 that you just saw. So I'd say definitely check this out if you want 8 cores. I feel like 8 cores is kind of unnecessary for gaming right now, but if you're gonna do a bit of multimedia productivity like making videos or streaming, then this 1700X could be an appealing option for you. And now for the one deal everyone's been raving about in the comment section of the Tron video is the RX 570. Either that one being this one you can find on Newegg by Asus for $140 after a discount, or this one by Power Color, which is just straight up $140. This is also a crazy deal because actually this is about the same price as an RX 560, like the one you found in my Tron V2 video on Amazon. So I mean, this is a no-brainer deal, and plus you get some free games as well, which is cool. So I'd say, like, if you're looking for your next budget graphics card and you kind of have a flexible budget, but you want something that's just a flat-out good deal, I would look at this RX 570 for $140. It's a really good deal, and you get free games. And yet again, closing out the graphics card deals, I have my own homeboy, this ASRock RX Vega 56 for $340. Now, actually, I would recommend picking this up over, say, a 1070 or something like that, because if you look up the price of a 1070 on Newegg, they're about $370, $360 at their lowest. This right here is actually the same price. But anyways, this is actually a bit cheaper than the average price of a 1070, and this is the card that I use. And depending on what game you're playing, this card can outperform a 1080. So for example, in Forza Horizon 4, that game is pretty well optimized for AMD cards that use DirectX 12, and this RX Vega 56 will be faster than a 1080 in that game. So if you want to play Forza Horizon 4 and you're looking for a high-end graphics card, consider this, because for $340, that's just a great deal. And now closing out the guide video, here I have two refurbished graphics cards from Zotac, one being a 1060 mini edition that has 6 gigabytes of VRAM, and the other one being the 3 gigabyte version for $98. Both of these are gonna be crazy. Of course they're refurbished, but I don't see anything wrong with that. But I mean, for $120, a 1060 that's 6 gigabytes of VRAM is just no-brainer. That's also a really incredible deal, and actually would probably be better than this if you're okay with getting a refurbished graphics card. And then you have the lower end model, the 3 gigabyte version, which isn't as fast, but is below $100. So if you're looking for a new graphics card, or refurbished in this case, for under $100, get this one from Zotac. It's a really good deal. Whew. And that closes out all the deals for this Black Friday gaming PC build guide video. Thank you so much for watching. Yet again, I will actually be making a part 2 to this video, going over the best pre-builds that you can find right now in the Black Friday holiday season, coming out tomorrow, so be sure to watch out for that. But as always, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and all that, and this is the Scatable channel, signing out.